Right, good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock p.m. Welcome to the March 10th, 2025 City of Burlingame Planning Commission meeting. For all in attendance today, please note that this Planning Commission meeting is being held in person and using the Zoom webinar format. Please note that we are not accepting remote public comment during the commission meetings. Agenda item number 2, roll call. The record should note that 6 members of the commission are present this evening. Commissioner Horan is absent. Agenda item number 3, request for AB 2249 remote participation. There are no commissioners this evening asking for remote participation. Agenda item number 4, review of the agenda. Staff, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda.
And do we have any recusals?
Yes, I'll be recusing from Hoover.
Actually, go ahead.
Go ahead.
As will I, 1548 Hoover.
And I'll be recusing from Laguna since I have a property within 500 feet of that property.
Okay. Okay, so the recusals. Agenda item number 5, public comments, non-agenda. Members of the public may speak about any item not on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to suggest an item for a future Planning Commission agenda item may do so during the public comment period. The Ralph Brown Act, the state local agency open meeting law, prohibits the Planning Commission from acting on any matter that is not on the agenda. Speakers limited to 3 minutes each. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on any item that is not on the agenda? Or any public comment email we may have received?
There were no public comment emails received up until 4 p.m. today for any item.
Very well. Agenda item number 6, consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered to be routine. They are acted on simultaneously unless separate discussion and/or action is requested by the applicant, a member of the public, or a commissioner prior to the time the commission votes on the motion to adopt. This evening, we have one item on the consent calendar. Item 6A, approval of the February 24th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting minutes. Would any member of the public or Planning Commission like to pull this item for discussion? No? And otherwise, do we have any comments or motions regarding this?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of February 10th, 2025.
I'll
I'll second that.
Somebody will say.
Okay. The motion by Commissioner Camarado, second by Commissioner Say. Any discussion? No? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Camarado,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Acting Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Lowenthal.
Aye. So that passes 6-0-0-1. Agenda item number 7, action items. We have one item this evening, item 7A, 628 Vernon Way. If you are the applicant and are attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. If possible, we ask that you also turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communication regarding this project? All right, let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we have staff report, please?
Yes, the site is an interior lot, the one-story single-unit dwelling, and the applicant is proposing additions to the existing first floor and a new second floor. The applicant is requesting design review for the additions and 3 setback variances for the project. The first variance is for the front setback to an addition that will widen the existing attached garage. The existing setback is non-conforming and the addition will match the setback. The applicant is requesting right and left side setbacks to the addition at the rear of the house. These proposed additions will match the existing non-conforming setbacks. The project came before the Planning Commission at their January 27th, 2025 study hearing, where the commission made several suggested changes and referred the project to the regular action calendar. Since that meeting, the applicant has revised the plans to include elements requested by the commission, including grids to the windows, reduced plate heights, and increased porch depth, and additional stone veneer. The staff planner recommends approval of the project by resolution and with the findings detailed in the staff report. There are 13 conditions of approval for the Planning Commission's consideration, and I am available for questions of staff.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Okay, no. I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and anything else you'd like to add about your project?
Hi, good evening, Chair and Commissioner. My name is Mike Ma. I was here before. I'm the project architect with March Design. Both the property owner and I are available for any question you have.
Great, thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Nope. Then I will close the public hearing. Commissioners?
I would just like to make a comment that I find this, really appreciate that you listened and understood what we were kind of getting at. And I personally find it looks so much better and hope you think so too. And thank you very much. Those are my comments.
Commissioner Say?
Yeah, I too want to thank you for addressing our comments and making the nice improvements to the design of the house overall. I also appreciate that the mechanical room door now is on the inside and not right up front facing the street. So that's a nice improvement too. I don't know if there's any other further comments, and if there aren't, I move that we approve this project per the conditions of the staff report.
I would like to second that.
Great. We have a motion by Commissioner Say, seconded by Commissioner Pfaff. Any discussion? No. May we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Camerado,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
and Chair Lowenthal.
Aye. The motion passes 6-0-0-1. An action by the Planning Commission is appealable to the City Council within 10 days of the Planning Commission's action. If the Planning Commission's action has not been appealed or called up for review by the City Council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $900, which includes noticing costs. Congratulations. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 8, our study session. First item up is item 8A, 132 Channing Road. Were any commissioners not able to visit this project site, or do any commissioners wish to know the ex parte communication regarding this project? Okay, let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear a staff report, please?
The site is an interior lot, and the existing residence will be almost entirely demolished. The applicant is proposing a new 2-story single-unit dwelling with an attached garage. Requested applications for the project include major design review, side setback variance, and a special permit for plate heights. The side setback variance requested is to the attached garage wall, which will remain in its current location. A special permit request is being made for a 9-foot 7-inch plate height first floor living room, where 9 feet is the maximum allowed, and also for an 8-foot 6-inch plate height at the rear of the house for bedroom number 1. That concludes the staff report, and I'm available for questions of staff.
Great, thank you. Do we have any questions for staff? No. Okay. I'm going to open the public hearing. Will the applicant please come forward and state your name and anything else you'd like to add about your project?
Elaine, you're still muted. If you could unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry. Can you hear and see me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, good evening, commissioners. This project is a second-story addition to an existing 1-story house. We're proposing to retain most of the existing first floor diaphragm and foundation, and we would like to also retain the majority of the garage framing, which is where our variance request stems from. So it currently has a 2.8 setback. The rest of the house is conforming with its setbacks, and most of our plate heights actually also conform to the zoning rules. At the living room, where we're requesting a 9.7, we're trying to keep the roof in plane with the rest of the roof at that floor, and which allows us to get some structural efficiency by having our second floor diaphragm sit on on the first floor plates, and the most of the second floor plate is also at conforming at 8 feet. It steps up at just at the primary suite to 8'6". The existing house is just a post-war cottage style house, and we're proposing a transitional style with Spanish influence. I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Great, thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant?
I do
Commissioner Say.
get to my notes. Let's see. Oh, yeah, just a quick question about, you have a nice deep front porch, and it looks like your eave extension over the front door is maybe, what, 24 inches or so?
Yeah, it's sorry. I'll tell you.
My question is just whether you'd consider something a little deeper just for weather protection at the front door when one arrives here?
It's a little, sorry, it's a little bit more than 24, but we could look into it. We didn't want to impinge too much over the head of the door, but we can certainly study making it a little bit deeper to provide a little bit more protection.
Just for the comfort of those arriving at the house. And is the front door 8 feet tall?
Yes.
It is. And any consideration, this is fairly minor, but I like the little attic vent over the living room window. Any consideration for that, adding that to the second story above that arched window? A little
We
bit
can
more
also look at that.
ornamentation.
We're thinking it might look a little bit crowded, but we can investigate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, unfortunately, since I don't build, I'm not quite understanding the plate height request. So.
So if we could go, well, I'm sorry, let's start with, looking at the left side elevation. So you can see the roof at the first floor, the lower roof at the first floor. Is all coplanar. And so that the roof rafters are able to sit on top of the second floor diaphragm, which extend all the way to the first floor. So we're able to really efficiently transfer both gravity and lateral loads to the first floor walls, as opposed to when you have beams that are pulled back from the wall, need to be transferred through a series of straps and nails, whereas when you've got the whole floor diaphragm connecting to the first floor wall, you have a lot of real estate to transfer forces to the first floor. So and so as a result, and there's no second floor diaphragm above the living room. So when you have just the rafters planing out with the rest of the rafters, the plate height ends up being a little bit higher. I'm hearing myself speak. That may not help explain it. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're trying to show visually.
Thickness is going into that.
There's a couple of cross sections too that on page A4.
Detail.
Okay. I'm going to trust my colleagues on this one, because we don't usually do that. So
The house, actually, the neighbor next door, from the way it looks at the outside, I haven't seen the drawings. The more recently built 2-story house looks as though it was detailed the same way.
yeah, but the rules changed since then for a lot of reasons, because that's a very large, it's a different house than this, and probably would have looked differently had the rules been, had we used the rules that we now use. So that's why I'm asking, because that's a pretty large house next door. So,
Yeah. That said, I suppose if we have 9-foot ceilings and 9-foot plates throughout most of the first floor, but then there is a 1-foot thick floor diaphragm sitting on top of it. My interpretation would be that that still qualifies as a 9-foot plate.
I appreciate the explanation. Maybe understood half of it, but thank you. That's why we
Sorry,
have different fields here. Thank you. No, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Nope. Okay, then I'm going to close the public hearing. Thank you very much. Commissioners, any comments or motions?
I'll go.
Go, Commissioner.
I appreciate your explanation on the height. I didn't see that the first time around when I was looking at them, but it makes total sense to me, and I would support that request. It does not seem to go against the spirit of what we're trying to accomplish with that rule. I also think it's a nice looking project. I appreciate the effort put in and the detailing and the overhangs and everything. I think it's going to be a good looking house. And I appreciate Commissioner Say's question because there are a couple little things there that'll actually could be a really nice add to it. So I agree with her point of view on that as well. So that's it for me.
Yeah, I also agree. Would be really nice to get a little more depth there because that's kind of uncomfortable, that front porch. So if it is called a front porch, but I think to look at that would be really appreciated.
Yeah, I was also thinking, I agree with all the other comments we've had so far. I was also thinking about duplicating the vent in the peak of the gable end, that secondary second story gable. I was also thinking it might look a little crooked because that is a much smaller space overall, or it look crowded. If you could also find a different kind of vent, like those little sets of 3 circular vents or something like that, maybe a little tile vent. I think anything small that looks good would benefit that because it looks just a little bit too empty. Other than that, I don't have anything else to add.
Any other comments? I don't have anything else to add. I like the project as it is, but do we want to move this on to consent or action?
I'm going to go consent.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we bring this back on consent and per the conditions in the staff report.
Can you also summarize the direction you want to give to the applicant as well?
Including the option of a vent over the second floor gable, and then extending the porch roof a little bit further out for more coverage.
I second that motion.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Schmidt, second by Commissioner Say. Any other discussion? No? Will you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Commissioner Camerado,
Aye.
Commissioner Foth,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
and Chair Lowenthal.
Aye. And that motion passes 6-0-0-1. All right, on to item 8B, where Commissioner Schmidt and myself both have to recuse. Commissioner Shores will take over.
Okay. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
Okay. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communication regarding this project? Okay, let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Also note that Commissioners Lowenthal and Commissioner Schmidt are recusing from this item. Can you hear the staff report, please?
The site is a corner lot at the intersection of Hoover and Columbus Avenues. The existing single-story, single-unit dwelling with attached garage will be demolished, and the applicant proposes to build a new 2-story, single-unit dwelling and a detached garage. Requested applications for the project include major design review and 2 special permits. The first special permit request is for a second floor plate height of 8 feet 6 inches, where 8 feet is the maximum allowed. And a special permit request is also being made for a second floor balcony of 75 feet that faces Hoover Avenue. There are 4 existing protected size trees on the site. The applicant has provided a certified arborist report and proposes to remove 3 of the 4 trees. The magnolia in the front yard facing Columbus will remain, and the city arborist has reviewed and approved the proposed new trees for the site, including the replacement plantings for the removed protected trees. That concludes the staff report, and I'm available for questions of staff.
Okay, any questions for staff? Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. The applicant, please come forward and state your name and anything else you'd like to add about your project.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Azadeh from AMS Design. I'm a designer of this project, and we appreciated your time, and we are appreciated the city, the planning department that worked with us, that's bringing the project to the community tonight. I'm here that if you have any question that I can answer your question. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for the applicant? All right, Commissioner Say?
Yeah. Hello. Is there a particular reason that you went to a 3 and 12 slope roof on the first floor and the 4 and 12 on the second floor?
Only because of the windows that we put there, and because of the portion of the second floor is a little smaller. Then if I put the 4, then I lose the windows in the second floor. That's the reason that we change it. And regarding the plate height, means that the limitation of the height, I don't want to be too messed for the second floor. That's only the reason that I do that.
Oh, yeah, that's actually my question, because it seemed like looking at all the 4 sides that there is plenty of room to clear the bottoms of the sills of the windows with the 4 and 12 slope. So that was a question.
Yeah, but if you look at in the front of the house, that's the problem for the windows in the front. But if you think that is 4 is okay, we can change it and try it. But because I think maybe we lose the windows in the side, and because it's a look of in the front of the house, that's the reason that we change it to the 3. But definitely we can have it. But for the attic space for the second floor, because we want to put some equipment, for example, the air handler for the heat pump, we want to put in the attic. That's the reason that we go 4 for the second floor.
Okay. Let's see. What else I was going to ask you about? Any particular reason why there are fewer windows on the left elevation? I think it's the left elevation that has a lot of white space. I think the kitchen, along that kitchen wall, there are no windows, or even on that second floor
Yes,
room.
in the back, yeah, because this one, the area, because I tried, because we put this, if you look at the plan layout of the kitchen area, we want to put means that the stove and the refrigerator in this direction. And because of the sink I put in the backyard, means that in the back side that have a window to look to the backyard. And this one is just too close to the fence, is only 5 feet. That's the reason that I don't put any windows there, specifically for the storage in the kitchen area, more cabinet for the kitchen area.
What about for that second floor? Let's see what's up there.
For the second floor there, again, because of the privacy for the neighbors. That's the reason, one of the reason.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm not entirely clear on the request for the additional, the plate height on the second floor. And are you saying there's so much equipment that you cannot put it without asking for a variance, or no?
The variance is about 8 feet because it's a little slow, and if we want to have a bigger windows, that's the reason that only 6 inches variance for this area. Then we can put the bigger windows there that bring more light to the second floor. Then we talk about the slope of the roof that is different, is a different topic for this one. Because,
Okay.
because it's a new construction, usually the people want to see that the more high ceiling, the 8 feet looks a little shorter for recent house, for the new house. Only that's the reason that we ask about the variance.
Okay, but you would be able to conform. We changed the rule about a year ago because the houses seemed to get just kind of blown up. And so there was a very deliberate reason why we asked for generally the reduced plate height. So that's why I asked. And the other question I have was, oh, did I forget it? Let me look at the front. 1 second, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess the question I have is I find all the windows plenty big, but the one that is on the front side with the stacked stone wall kind of looks more on the small side. So,
Yeah, because if you look at the layout of this one, these windows in the bathroom and is a top area because of the privacy. We prefer that have a small
see.
windows.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Please note that speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Okay, we have one.
Yeah, my name is Tony Paul. Just one question about the height of the windows of the second floor, their height. Did you guys have a structural calculation for the shear walls since you have a different height? And did you have structural calculation for that or?
Through the chair, this is not a time for the public to ask questions of the applicant. You can provide your comment, feedback on the proposed design, but there's no interaction between the public and the applicant. Thank you.
And did you guys have that then structural calculation for that house?
That'll come in later.
Later
during the construction building permit phase. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. So, commissioners, comments?
So I'll start. So I know this property pretty well, and I know it's probably a bit of a tough little lot there and the turn and where it's located. But I think that the design itself feels very bland, doesn't have a lot of detail. A lot of the homes on Columbus and Hoover are very charming. There are some more modern ones that are across the street, but on the Columbus side. But I feel like we need more detail around the windows. I believe that I'm not so certain about this tile work that is around the front facade and then a bit more on the top. And this is we're commenting now. Sorry. Yeah. But
If we'll have to reopen the public hearing, we're going to do the commissioner comments real first, then we can reopen the public hearing if you'd like to. So, okay.
Just hold on,
yeah,
get back to you.
yeah, we will. Thank you. And so I just feel like it's missing a little bit of detail and characteristic for the neighborhood. And I know that we approved another project just around the corner on Columbus. And that's more of a Spanish style. And we had them kind of go back and do more of a stucco with a little bit of a touch type of stucco. So, you know, at this moment in time, I don't think I could approve this project, especially with the variance on the second floor. And I'd like to see what my other commissioners feel about it. You go first.
Yeah, so let's see. I have a few concerns with the, well, I think even just addressing my general questions, I think that the elements that the applicant was trying to address with answering my questions can be addressed with the, even with the changes or the edits that I was commenting on. I feel there is enough room with a 4 and 12 slope on that first floor to still be able to have the larger windows on the second story. The header heights look a bit low. If I'm looking at the elevation correctly, the upper floor currently is proposed at an 8-foot 6-inch plate height with a 7-foot 6-inch something is being called out. It's not the top of the windows, but something is called out. So at 7'6", accounting for a 12-by-4 header, you should be able to locate your windows a little bit taller and still be able to get some size on the windows if that is of concern. I don't support that second story taller plate height. I don't really think it's necessary. With the second story and the roof up above, each of those rooms can have a volume ceiling and capture a bit more volume through that versus requesting the taller plate height. One of the elements why I am concerned about the 3 and 12 slope is also that the house looks from the street, and actually we can see it even from the renderings. The roof elements look very flat. They're, the pitch is low, so of course, very flat from kind of eye level, pedestrian level, if you drive by the house. And you can see it on the elevations, it looks better, but would be even more improved with a 4 and 12 slope. I think there's just, we need some more design details. I think we need like Commissioner Camarado stated, we need some type of detail around the windows. I should have asked, is there casing, no casing? Is it supposed to be a stucco wrapped right into the frame of the window? What is the intention there? One of the other reasons I prefer the 4 and 12 slope on the first floor too is when you look at the elevation with the balcony, which I think is the right elevation. I think that bit of framing underneath the guardrail could be almost buried under the roof and be an improved design. Right now, it sort of looks apartment-like to me when I look at this. So I think there's just some overall details that need to be addressed. I think that the second story stone wrap across I think it's the primary bathroom, just terminating at the corner, it doesn't wrap around any other side. It's probably not an ideal way to handle the transition of materials. So, it's almost a borderline design review consultant look, but I'm not sure maybe the applicant can address it with enough comments from us. We're not here to do the design, of course, for them, but those are just at least some of my initial thoughts and comments.
Yes, I agree with my fellow commissioners. Also wondering about the design review. I think there just should be some more detail. And I'm wondering if your marriage to the stone on the second floor, because if it doesn't wrap somehow, and even if it does wrap, then it maybe look a little strange from one side, just unless you did the entire side in stone. Then maybe you want to reassess where and if you want the stone up there, and definitely some more window detail. The windows, I think, are plenty large, and if you get some detailing around them, then they just automatically will become they will look larger as well. So I just think it needs some more detail, and I really don't think I'm not able to support the second floor, the request for the plate height variance, mainly because if you look at your, we're supposed to look at the, the plans, but if I actually look at your rendering, which has a little bit more of the perspective from someone who's on the street, it is, I think if you pushed it down, it would look, and also address the roof angle issue, I think it would look better, less obtrusive, less bulky. I think it would be helpful, kind of set the house. It is a difficult and unusual parcel, but I think those things would probably help it more than hurt it. So those are my comments.
Okay, I more or less agree with everything my fellow commissioners have said. I think that in addition, just generally, I think that the design could benefit from a little bit more attention to the side-facing elevation that faces the street. It does have a balcony facing that side, and of course, the first story will be obscured by a fence and landscaping. But I feel like a little bit more attention could be done on that side, just because that's where most of the house is going to show to, is on that side. But I don't think it's particularly far away. It sounds like we heard design review consultant from a few people. Is that what we're thinking? Okay.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
I think that this would be a good candidate for design review. I think what a consultant can do is just kind of take some of our notes and just make it a little more detailed in how we think it should look.
Yeah.
Or at least give them a little bit more detail. And but that's kind of where I am.
I was going to add one more thing to my comments, and that might help with the design review consultant as well. And what's bothering me a lot is there's a number of different shapes of windows, and it seems like maybe the windows were thought of more from the inside and where the windows might be needed from the inside looking out versus from the house on the outside looking in. The placement of the windows, the alignment of windows from the second story, over the first story, there doesn't seem to be a lot of rhyme or reason to it. And just shapes, profiles, sizes, even when there's multiple windows, the spacing between windows varies from elevation to elevation. So I think a design review consultant can help kind of clean everything up and take all of our comments and assist with the next round of presentation.
Okay.
Through the chair, yes, the property owner did want to add some color to the conversation. So if it's up to you, but you can open up the public hearing and allow them to speak and then proceed with the motion.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I can reopen the public hearing. Okay. So any members of the public attending in person, please note speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Okay. If you wanted to say something now, you can. Certainly.
I'm the owner for the property. My purpose I work with my architect to design this house based on what I like and what I like to live in it. It's across this house is one house, across this one is mid-century design, which is very strange for Burlingame, but it is. And the street is kind of combination of different kind of design, Spanish, craftsman, mid-century, and different. What I did with my architect to design this kind of the house blend in the street, blend in that neighborhood, because this neighborhood is different, has different kind of design house. And you had question about the exterior is natural stone, which is actually is nice because next neighbor has a couple of house down, they are Spanish, natural stone and stucco. 80% of the houses, they are stucco. I think is very, very much blend with the neighborhood. Also, the balcony, I feel myself to sit in that room and do yoga because of it's open to the window is open to the open space, and it's beautiful. It's the trees. I love that. That's for the purpose of this house. And this part, you said the window is a lot of windows. It's going to be fenced. It's going to be fenced and lattice as much as is a code permitted. That was my answer. Your question about the design. And I like it is to be more clean cut with the wood finish, natural material. That was the purpose. But as far as the other question about the, architectural things, my architect, I hope, I think she left. She thought the meeting is finished. She would answer you more detail about the technical, if you are not satisfied with that.
No, that's, no, we were all good. I did, are we allowed to have a back and forth here with her or?
We can ask questions.
Yeah, I just was curious. I'm very curious about, because you brought up the stone work,
Yes.
stone work.
Yes.
So, so we had mentioned one of our requests was to go around the corner, but do you understand, because it is a corner house, it might look a little peculiar, just go around the corner and stop.
Yeah.
So we're intending to do the whole wall, as a big wall.
Yes. Yeah, I consider that one, but my thought, because the property is sitting much more back, is not to the front. It's about 23 feet back from the street. We had to go set back much more back.
Right, but you're
That's
taking
why
out the trees.
it doesn't show much at this side. I understand your point, but also I consider is the stone, natural stone is very expensive though, to turn it around. And it doesn't really much effect because the setback is a lot. That's why,
That was what I wanted to ask. Thank you.
that was the reason, just consider the front and,
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
no, just if you have any other question, I can answer.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will close the public hearing. Okay, so, right, and I don't think we had mentioned it before, but I don't have an issue with the overall design philosophy of the house. There are a variety of styles, and I think that we had generally mentioned just lots of
Cleanup.
yes,
Mhm.
exactly. Not like a stark
Style
design.
change.
Roof.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, we weren't asking for style change.
So, on that, do we have a motion for either action or design review consultant?
I'd like to bring it to a design review consultant.
Okay, we have a,
With the summarize.
We also need to summarize, yes, the list of items you would like the consultant and the applicant to work.
I will attempt to summarize the comments. I would like the design review consultant to take a look at the roof pitches on the house on the 2 floors, as well as the location of and sizes and alignment of the windows on all 4 sides of the house. Also like the design review consultant to take a look at where it would be applicable to apply some stone cladding to the house, but maintain a thoughtful application as one moves from one side of the house to the other, especially since this property has 2 street frontages. Let's see, what else? We said we did not support the 2nd-story plate height increase.
Window detail.
The window detailing casing, if at all, and what that would look like.
The roof pitch, right?
Mm-hmm. The roof
Was,
pitch.
that was the second?
The first floor pitch should should be a 4 and 12. The 3 and 12 just looks too flat on the first story. And I think when we heard the designer or the applicant talk, the reasoning for the 3 and 12 pitch, I think it's not applicable. I think the 4 and 12 pitch does still meet their needs for larger windows. Also, I think that the header height of the windows should be taken a look at. They look like maybe they're set a little low. And if the applicant's trying to get larger windows upstairs. I also think that the balcony looks, I think there could be an improvement to how that's integrated with the massing of the detailing and the massing of the house in general.
I'm not opposed to the balcony, though.
I'm not, I was just going to say, not opposed to the balcony, just how it's detailed right now. Maybe the pitch will solve the problem with the increased pitch.
Okay. And was that seconding the motion or is that motion?
Oh, and then I'll second that motion after I made all those comments.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Camerado, seconded by Commissioner Say. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, may we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Camerado?
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff?
Aye.
Commissioner Say?
Aye.
And Acting Vice Chair Shores.
Aye. Okay, motion passes 4-0-1.
You survived?
It seems so.
Okay, good.
I'm still breathing.
Good. Okay. Move on to item 8C, 456 Cumberland Road. Were any commissioners not able to visit this project site, or do any commissioners wish to know any ex parte communication regarding this project? No, let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear a staff report, please?
The site is an interior lot with an existing split-level single-unit dwelling and an attached garage. The applicant proposes a first-floor uncovered deck addition and a second-story addition. Requested applications for the project include major design review and special permits a single special permit for an uncovered 74-square-foot balcony at the rear of the house. The existing trees on the site do not count towards the landscape tree requirement because of their species, and the applicant proposes to plant 2 new crepe myrtles to meet the tree reforestation ordinance requirements based on the proposed living area for the project. That concludes the staff report, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for staff? Nope. All right, then I will open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and anything else you'd like to add about your project?
Good evening, commissioners. I'm Tanya Weir. This is Michael Weir, my husband. And this is the house that I grew up in. And I'm a native Burlingamian. And right now, it is as it has been, I think, since the late 60s. My parents bought it in 1968. I was born in 69, so I grew up my entire life there. And since their passing, we've taken it on. We want to move back in, and we need to expand a little bit. There's only one tiny little bathroom in there. And my goal was to build onto the house and not be obtrusive to the rest of the neighborhood, to make it fit in nicely. I was hoping that you would like the way it looks. And it fits in with the other craftsman style houses across the street and down the street that I think it fits in nicely with. I believe there's a lot of really good detail And it's also, we have not expanded on the footprint of it because I like a large garden. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Michael Weir, and came with her when I married her to Burlingame. I came from Mountain View, so coming up to Burlingame, lived about 17 years, and then moved to San Mateo, and would very much look forward to coming back here. And so I think improving on this house and building it to the way we want, and I think also the way it's designed, it falls much in line with the rest of the neighborhood. And so, yeah, very much look forward to moving on and coming back to Burlingame. So thank you.
We did bring the design to our, we did bring the design to our neighbors, and from everybody that we heard back from, they really liked it and they're excited to have us back. So actually, a lot of the neighbors are people I grew up with, and they're still there.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Oh, did you want to speak? Oh, sorry.
Good evening. My name is Gary Ahern. I'm the project architect, and I'm happy to explain design philosophy and answer any other questions you guys might have that's specific to the design.
Great. Do we have any questions for the applicant? No?
I had a quick question.
Commissioner Say?
Did, Gary, did you do the sketches?
I did.
Of the, they're very beautiful.
Okay. I think that's all the questions we have for this evening. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? No? Okay, then I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners, what do we think?
I like the project. I don't have any comments for it or criticisms, and I can see it coming back on consent.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
I think that you guys did a really nice job. You kept it with the tradition of that neighborhood, so thank you for that. And thanks for the sketches; those are really special. So you did a really nice job. So thank you, and I agree with my fellow commissioners.
And I will,
Oh, you go ahead. You go.
You-
No, you
okay. Yeah, love it. Very nicely done. Very, very familiar with that neighborhood, and I think this just will look great and nice attention to detail. So then, should I make a motion? Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to bring this onto the consent calendar.
Jennifer?
Yes?
Sorry, can I make one
Oh,
comment only?
Yes.
So sorry.
Mhm.
On the back, where the back door is, off of the, even on your sketch, are you putting, you'll put some lights out there, right? Because on the sketch, it's not on there, but on the drawings themselves, some outside lights. I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. The building code requires lights. I just didn't have any lighting.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. So thank you. So I'm going to make a motion to put the 456 Cumberland Road on consent calendar
I'll second that motion.
Great.
as
we have
proposed.
a motion by Commissioner Pfaff, seconded by Commissioner Say. Any other discussion? No. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Camerado,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmid,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Lowenthal.
Aye. Motion passes 6001. And that action is not appealable. Congratulations. All right, moving on to item 8D, 1245 Laguna Avenue, and I believe Commissioner Camerado, you need to recuse? Okay. While she was doing that, I'll ask if any other commissioners were not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communication? No? Okay, let the record note all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we have staff report, please?
The site is an interior lot with an existing split-level single-unit dwelling and an attached garage. The applicant proposes first and second-story additions, which requires major design review. The site contains 5 landscape trees, 3 of which are protected size. The applicant proposes to remove 2 protected trees, and the remaining 3 trees meet the tree reforestation ordinance requirements. Staff would note that the city arborist has reviewed and approved the landscape application for this project. That concludes the staff report, and I'm available for questions of staff.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for staff? All right, I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and anything else you would like to add about your project?
Good evening, Commissioner. My name is Ryan Morris with Morris Architecture. And I just wanted to add on to the staff report and let you know that I'm here together with one of the owners, and they were able to meet with or speak to both neighbors on either side. They met with the one on the right, the north side, I believe, and spoke to the one on the south, and neither of them had any concerns. And I thought it was just worth mentioning on this project. You'll see that the front of the house is basically existing. We did improve a little bit, adding a trellis to give it a little more curb appeal over the garage, but for all intents and purposes, it's remaining as is, and our project is focused on the back of the house. It was already an awkward split level house with flat roofs in the back and clay tile in the front. And so we took what was in the back and expanded that a little bit more to get the extra rooms they were looking for. We did explore a lot of other options, including a tear down and other ways to try and get the house a little more cohesive. But in the end, this was what met their goals and the criteria they were looking for. And I think from the back, it still has a good amount of interest and articulation, even though I recognize it's not quite the same as the front of the house.
Great, thank you very much. Do we have any questions for the applicant?
Yes, excuse me, could you come back? So you've taken some artistic license with the front, the decoration around the front, the main window, front window, right? Or was that there? I didn't see it there. No,
The front window, there's some stucco shapes that are already there. We haven't touched that.
Oh, and that shape is there? It's funny, when I drove by, I didn't even notice that. Must have just been that time of day. So that is there.
It is.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's very interesting. Well, my question was, had you considered, because it is kind of interesting, it's a little pizzazz.
Yeah.
Had you considered maybe not copying it, but on the window with the second floor window, maybe kind of playing with maybe a piece on the bottom, not quite as clunky or big because it's a smaller window, but maybe just a horizontal piece with the, just the bottom part, not necessarily the sides, just to kind of get a little, kind of pull it together.
Yeah.
That's my question.
I see where you're going with that. And to be honest, I'm not really fond of the shape of the existing window.
So, yeah. Okay. It was a thought. Yeah.
I was hoping that the new trellis around the garage door, we've also removed the roof used to slope down the garage. We've removed that, and we're trying to draw attention away from the window.
Okay.
And emphasize different parts of.
Got it. No, understand, and I appreciate the trellis part on the garage.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Yes, so the house as it is has like a circular window with like a wrought iron thing on it just on top of, over the front door. Is that going away or is that staying?
Yeah, that is going away. It was actually not even providing light to the entryway. I think it's in the attic.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Go ahead, you have 3 minutes.
I see the garage is the one down, and then the room, is it living room upstairs?
Again, you're here to just make comment. We're not here to in questions and answers.
The reason I'm saying is for the benefit of the resident. A lot of times if there's no isolation from the movement of the door to the second, then it's going to be noisy for the bedroom. So when they come, say one of them come and the other one is sleeping. So if there's no good isolation, that would be problematic. That's the only thing I'm saying. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any other members of the public attending in person wish to speak? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners, what do we think?
I'll go.
Okay.
I really like the fact that it's saving actually a nice looking house. And adaptively reusing it. I actually think the changes to the entry are spectacular. I think that long roof was actually overkill. And I think what you've done with it really makes it look nice and creates a new central focal point, which is what you said you were trying to accomplish. So I actually think the front looks really good with the changes, and I appreciate the trellis over the garage because otherwise it would have been a high forehead to get up to that next window. So I think you did a great job. And I don't have any, oh, no, we don't have any special circumstances here, do we?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I also appreciate you reused substantial portions of the house and definitely still retains that Spanish flavor. And we're all used to the ornate front, the plain back. So everybody, I think here knows, seen that many times. So thank you.
No disagreement on my end. Do we have a motion? And where do we want to bring it back to? Consent?
I'll make a motion that we bring this back on consent and approving the conditions of approval in the staff report.
That'll come at the next meeting.
Well, yeah, okay.
What I'm hearing is that the motion is to bring it back to consent with no requested changes.
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
Great. We have a motion by Commissioner Schmidt, second by Commissioner Say. Any other discussion? Anyway, please have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Foth,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Aye.
Commissioner Say,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
and Chair Lowenthal.
Aye. The motion passes 5-0-1-1. This action is not appealable. Congratulations. Here comes Commissioner Camarado. That takes us to the end of study session this evening. So on to agenda item number 9, which is staff commission reports. Were there any commission reports?
Well, I'm on that Vision Zero, but that doesn't really have anything to do with us. Right? No, never mind. So
That's probably with Public Works.
it's Public Works. I
Yeah.
got that getting a little mixed up.
I just had a question. Were we going to have like that little stucco lesson, stucco texture lesson or something? It's a-
Yeah, we're trying to kind of figure out our work plan. We have some major items where we need to work through. But I'll look into that with Ned and let you know if we're going to try to schedule something like that.
It's true because the last one we just looked at, we didn't know if it was smooth stucco or what. So that's interesting. Nope, good point.
And staff?
The only thing I had to report, as you may know, on March 3rd, the City Council upheld the Planning Commission's decision on the Mercy High School gym project, approved it unanimously with no changes to the conditions of approval. So their next step, I believe they've already submitted for a building permit. So things are moving on their end.
So is it a recusal? Did Vice Mayor Brownrigg recuse or was he a voter?
No, he called it up for review. So
But was he allowed to vote?
no.
Okay, because he lives close by or because he brought it up?
Yes, all of that.
But yes to both. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Was curious.
All right, then we will be adjourned at 8:04 p.m.
Thank you.